Today, I am going to tell you a story in clear, easy English. We will be working at level A2, beginner. Turn on the subtitles to see the translation in your own language.
Falling for a married man. I never expected to fall in love with someone I could not have. In fact, when I first met Daniel, I did not feel anything unusual. I thought he was just a new coworker with a warm smile, but life sometimes surprises us in ways we never expect. This is the story of how I fell in love with a man who was not free. I met Daniel on a rainy Monday morning at the office. The power had gone out and everyone was confused and waiting in the hallway. He stood beside me and made a joke about the building falling apart. His voice was calm and friendly, and it made me smile. That moment was small, but it stayed in my mind. We spoke again later that day in the lunchroom. He was eating pasta from a container and laughing at himself for forgetting a fork. I offered him one of the extra plastic ones I kept in my desk. He thanked me with a shy smile that made his eyes softer. I remember feeling a strange warmth in my chest. Over the next weeks, we became friends without even trying. We talked during coffee breaks, shared stories about work, and sometimes walked to the bus stop together after long days. He asked about my hobbies, and he listened like he truly cared. I felt safe around him, like he understood me easily. There were no signs that he was married. He never mentioned a partner, and he never wore a ring. When I asked small questions about his weekends, he always answered in a general way, never lying, but never specific. I had no reason to suspect anything. Slowly, my feelings began to deepen. Sometimes our hands touched by accident and we both paused. Sometimes he looked at me just a moment too long. There was a softness between us that neither of us spoke about, but I could feel it growing like a quiet fire. One evening, we stayed late to finish a project. The office was almost empty and the sun was already gone. We sat close, sharing snacks and laughing about silly mistakes. When he looked at me, his eyes were warm and full of something I could not name. My heart beat faster than I wanted it to. When we finally left the office, the hallway was silent. He walked me to the elevator and pressed the button. As we waited, the air became tense and electric. I felt the attraction like a pull, strong and frightening. He stepped closer, and I didn't move away. When the elevator doors opened, we didn't step inside. Instead, he reached for my face gently, almost asking permission. I felt myself leaning in without thinking. The kiss was slow at first, then full of emotion and longing. It felt like something powerful had finally woken up. But then he stepped back suddenly. He looked down, breathing hard, and ran a hand through his hair. "I need to tell you something," he said, his voice shaking. My stomach tightened. I already knew it was something bad. He finally whispered, "I'm married." His words hit me like cold water. I stepped back, feeling dizzy and confused. Married? How could he be married and never say it? How could he kiss me knowing this truth? A mix of anger and heartbreak filled my chest. He explained that his marriage had been struggling for years. He said he felt lonely, unheard, disconnected at home. He said meeting me made him feel alive again. He didn't plan for this to happen, and I believed him, but the truth still hurt deeply. For days, I avoided him at work. I needed space to think, to breathe, to understand my feelings. I knew the attraction was real and the connection was strong, but I also knew I could not be the other woman. That idea made my heart ache. Still, fate kept putting us together. We worked on the same team and often shared tasks. Every time he looked at me, I felt my resolve weaken. Every time he spoke kindly to me, my heart broke again. Love can be painful when it arrives at the wrong time. One afternoon, he asked if we could talk outside. We walked to a quiet park near the office. He told me he was confused, torn between duty and emotion. He said he cared for me deeply and didn't want to hurt me. I felt tears burning behind my eyes. I don't want to destroy your marriage, I told him softly. The words were heavy and difficult to say. I can't be in the middle of this. It isn't right. He looked at me with sadness and something like regret. The wind felt cold against my skin. But I love you, he whispered. Hearing it made my chest tighten painfully. I loved him too. There was no use denying it. But some love arrives with too many shadows. Some love asks us to choose between heart and conscience. We sat on a bench, both silent for a long time. Birds were singing somewhere, but I barely heard them. My mind kept repeating one thing. If he could love me while married, then he could hurt me too. I needed him to make his own choice without my influence. Finally, I found the strength to speak. You need to give your marriage the same effort you gave me, I said. If there's any chance to save it, you must try. My voice trembled, but I stayed strong. I won't be responsible for breaking it. He looked shocked, then deeply emotional. He nodded slowly, understanding what I meant. This was not a punishment. It was the right thing. He needed to face his life honestly, not escape into mine, and I needed to protect my heart. The days that followed were difficult and heavy. We kept our distance at work, speaking only when necessary. I cried some nights, missing the connection we had, but I also felt a quiet strength growing in me. Doing the right thing does not always feel good, but it matters. Weeks passed, and he began working on his marriage. He and his wife went to counseling. They talked openly for the first time in a long while. He told me they were trying to rebuild trust and connection. I felt both relieved and sad. We remained polite but distant at work. The attraction did not disappear, but I learned to manage it. I reminded myself that love should not bring destruction. Love should not hide in the shadows or secrets. Love should be honest, even when it hurts. With time, I found peace again. I focused on my friendships, my hobbies, my own future. My heart still held memories of him, but they softened slowly. I learned that strength sometimes means letting go, and that doing the right thing shapes who we become. Looking back, I do not regret meeting him. He showed me what deep connection feels like. He taught me about honesty, boundaries, and courage, and he reminded me that love is powerful, but not always simple. Some stories are beautiful, even if they must end. I still think of him sometimes, not with pain, but with quiet understanding. I loved him, and he loved me, but it was not our time. We both had paths we needed to follow, and choosing the right path made me stronger. In the end, I know I did what was right. I protected myself, and I respected the truth. I refused to be part of something that hurt others, and I learned that real love includes responsibility. Sometimes walking away is the greatest act of love.
If you enjoyed this story, Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Until next time, take care and learn something new every day.